Alright guys, yesterday we generated two patterns using two different rules in a table that looked a little bit like this. Today we're going to do the same thing by solving these type of problems, but today we are also going to analyze the relationship between those two different patterns. So let's dive right into our first problem. We have Julia and George, and both of them are saving to buy a new PlayStation. They are both saving to buy a new PlayStation. Julia adds $20 to her savings each week. George saves $5 each week. How much will each of them save after 5 weeks? This part of the question is just like what we did yesterday, and I have started to set up my table already. In this first column, I'm going to have the number of weeks. In the second column is going to be Julia's pattern, and in the third column is going to be George's pattern. As you can see, here is my green part, the number of weeks that this pattern is going to go, and that's my first column, the number of weeks. So we have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. Now, let's dive right into Julia's pattern. She adds $20 to her savings each week for that new PlayStation. $20 each week. So week 1, she's saving $20. And then in week 2, she has that $20 and she saves another $20. So 20 plus 20 equals 40. You got it. And then week 3, she had that 40, but she saved another $20. So 40 plus 20 equals 60. Nailed it. Now week 4, she had that $60 and she saved another $20. So 60 plus 20 is 80. You got it. And last but not least, that week 5, we are almost done with Julia's pattern. And we had $80 in week 4. She saved another $20 in week 5. So 80 plus 20 is $100. So by week 5, Julia had saved $100. Now, let's think about George. George here. According to our problem, George only saves $5 each week. George must not get nearly as much an allowance as Julia gets. So George, he starts off with $5. In week 1, he puts in his savings. Maybe he's just not as good at saving money. By week 2, he's saving another $5, so 5 plus 5 equals, easy peasy lemon squeezy, that's 10. We have that 10 plus another 5 is 15. 15 plus another 5 is 20. And 20 plus another 5 is 25. So we know that by the end of week 5, George has $25 in his savings account. So at this point, we have done what we did yesterday. We have generated two patterns using two different rules using a table. We know we can now answer this first question. How much will each of them have saved after 5 weeks? Julia saved $100 and George saved $25. But what about that second part that we are doing today? How can we describe the relationship between these two different patterns? We have a sentence stem here at the bottom. Julia saved blank times the amount as George each week. Julia saved blank times the amount as George each week. So we have George's amount and we have Julia's amount. Julia's amount is or equals George's amount times a certain amount. So George times something equals Julia. George's amount times something equals Julia. In other words, 5 times something equals 20. We know that 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 is 4 times as much as 5. Let's see if that's also true of all of these other parts of the pattern. 10 times 4 equals 40. So 40 is 4 times as much as 10. That one works. 15 times 4 is 60. So 60 times 4 is 4 times as much as 15. 20 times 4 is 80. So 80 is 4 times as much as 20. And 25 times 4 equals 100. So 100 is 4 times as much as 25. So that works with all of these patterns. So how can we put that in this number sentence? Julia saved blank times the amount as George each week. What number did we put in to relate these numbers to each other? 5 times what gave me 20? 10 times what gave me 40? 15 times what gave me 60? 20 times what gave me 80? 25 times what gave me 100? 4. Julia saved 4 times the amount of George each week. And that is how you describe the relationship between two different patterns. Nice job.